Hello, I'm Rascador. Today, I'm going to do a fuel economy test on my way home from work in Gangnam. Today is the 41st test. Actually, today is not a special car. Let's test it with a K5 hybrid vehicle. The 2.0 hybrid model probably won't come out anymore after the Sonata K5, because this car will get a facelift in a while. I took a video like this because I thought I should try this test with a 2.0 gasoline hybrid before the facelift comes out. The vehicles to be compared with this vehicle today are the K5 1.6 gasoline turbo, Grandeur 2.4 hybrid, Avante 1.6 naturally aspirated hybrid, and K8 1.6 gasoline turbo hybrid. Let's compare how good the 2.0 gasoline hybrid is compared to the same 1.6 gasoline turbo with 3 hybrids. Some people want to buy this car as a new car, and there will be many people who are thinking about buying a used car. I hope this video helps those who are thinking about buying a 1.6 gasoline turbo or a 2.0 hybrid. First, the K5 2.0 hybrid model is equipped with Pirelli P0 tires 235/45/18 inches. Today's temperature is about 9 degrees Celsius, which is a temperature that does not significantly affect fuel economy. In addition, this model has a maximum output of 195 horsepower, a maximum torque of 19.2 kg/m, and a 6-speed automatic transmission. It is a vehicle with excellent fuel economy, with both combined fuel economy and city fuel economy at 17.6 kilometers. So my expectation today is to run on a blocked road. So if the fuel efficiency is only about 13 to 15 kilometers, I think it will be okay. I wouldn't do it if the K5 hybrid's facelift model came out as a 2.0 gasoline naturally aspirated model, but as it was released as a 1.6 gasoline turbo model, I plan to test today to test this vehicle later. This test also starts at 5 p.m. Arrived at Guro Digital Complex Station. Since this vehicle is a hybrid vehicle, it consumed a lot of battery at the beginning, so it showed fuel economy of 26 kilometers in the 2.8 kilometers section and took 15 minutes. Today, the road is not clogged as much as I thought, and in the beginning, I ran a lot with an electric motor, so the fuel economy rose to 90 kilometers, but now it is 22 kilometers. In the case of the K5 1.6 gasoline turbo model, it took 18 minutes to get here and the fuel economy was 6.5 kilometers. In fact, this vehicle will not go to Jamsil, its destination, with a fuel economy trend of 22 kilometers as it is now. Of course, the fuel economy will gradually drop, but at this level, short-distance fuel economy with an electric motor can be considered good. It took about 20 minutes for the Grandeur 2.4 hybrid model to come here, and the fuel economy was 9 kilometers. In the case of the K5 1.6 gasoline turbo model, it took 17 minutes and the fuel economy was 11 kilometers. Looking at this, you can see that this vehicle is currently showing a fairly high fuel economy. Do you know what the number 1 fuel economy is on the way home from work in Gangnam? Today is the 41st test drive, and the first place in the test drive is the Avante hybrid. It took 23 minutes to get here with a vehicle that combines a 1.6 gasoline naturally aspirated engine and a hybrid electric motor, and the fuel economy was about 14 kilometers. In the case of today's K5 model, it would have been nice to compare it to the Sonata hybrid, but the Sonata hybrid did not do this test. In the case of the K5 model, it would have been nice to compare it to the Sonata hybrid, but I did not test the Sonata hybrid like this. So today's test is going to predict how efficient this vehicle will be if the powertrain is changed during the facelift compared to the fuel efficiency test results of the K8 1.6 gasoline turbo model. In the case of the K8 1.6 gasoline turbo model, it has 108 horsepower and 27 kg/m of torque, and the combined fuel economy is 17.1 kilometers, and the city fuel economy is 17.2 kilometers, and the K5 model has a 2.0 NA hybrid engine, so it exerts a maximum output of 152 horsepower and a maximum torque of 19.2 kg/m. Combined fuel economy and city fuel economy both show 17.6 kilometers. For reference, my test drive review and fuel economy test on the way home from Gangnam were all conducted with a full option vehicle, so the fuel economy is definitely slightly lower than that of the basic model. As the vehicle gets bigger, the fuel economy gets worse, so it would be nice to watch while considering this part a little. And in the case of the Avante 1.6 gasoline NA engine in today's comparison list, the maximum output is slightly lower at 105 horsepower, and the maximum torque is 15 kilograms. The fuel efficiency is the best with certified fuel efficiency of 19.5 kilometers and city fuel efficiency of 20.3 kilometers. The K8 and K5 have a general automatic transmission, but the Avante hybrid model has a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. The K5 shows a full option price of about $28,800, and the Avante costs about $22,700. That's a difference of about $6,000. And in the case of the K8 model equipped with a 1.6 gasoline turbo model, the current price is about $35,600, which is about $7,000 more expensive than this vehicle. The above price is based on the Korean market, so the price part and options trims may change by country. So, in terms of price range, this model can actually be seen as a vehicle that is not bad in size and fuel economy between the Avante and the K8. I will continue driving and check the fuel economy once more at the entrance of Seoul National University and continue the story. Now I have arrived at Seoul National University Station. It took about 34 minutes on an 8 km section to this point. The fuel economy is 2.07 kilometers. The K5 1.6 gasoline turbo model took 41 minutes to get here and showed fuel efficiency of 8 kilometers. And the Grandeur Hybrid 2.4 model took 39 minutes to get here and the fuel economy was 12 kilometers. The Avante 1.6 NA hybrid model took 49 minutes and showed good fuel economy at 17.4 kilometers. The K8 1.6 gasoline turbo took 32 minutes to get here at 13.6 kilometers. Shall we see how much the K5 sold? In 2021, this vehicle is known to have sold 55,742 units in Korea. Among them, 10,800 hybrids were sold, accounting for about 19.3% of the total sales. And in 2022, as the popularity of the vehicle as a new car declined and various other vehicles came out, the sales volume decreased, with 31,498 units sold. So in total sales, 7,860 hybrids were sold. In terms of market share, 24% of total K5 sales were sold as hybrid vehicles. So, as hybrid vehicles are selling well, I thought that a hybrid could be the main powertrain of the K5, so I looked for some data. As soon as the K5 first came out, it showed so many sales that it was said that the Sonata almost went bankrupt. And through this Sonata facelift, Sonata is appealing that it will come back, and accordingly, the K5 is now preparing for a facelift. So, if there is a facelift and there is a partial change, I am personally most curious about whether the powertrain will change to a 1.6 gasoline turbo. One of the reasons is that there are originally 4 types of 2.0 hybrid, 1.6 hybrid, 1.6 turbo hybrid, and 2.4 hybrid. And the more these types are, the more burdensome the person who makes the vehicle is. And lowering the unit price is not easy, so many attempts are being made to combine the powertrain into one. So, semi-large sedans such as the Grandeur and K5 also have a 1.6 gasoline turbo hybrid. In the case of Avante, it seems that it was released as a 1.6 NA hybrid rather than a 1.6 gasoline turbo hybrid due to cost performance and fuel economy. In my opinion, if the K5 undergoes a partial change, I do not know whether to put a 1.6 gasoline turbo in the future or 3 to 4 years later, but I think the 1.6 gasoline turbo will definitely fit in the K5 someday. The only vehicles equipped with a 2.0 NA hybrid are the Sonata and K5, and both vehicles are facing a facelift, so it is likely to change to a 1.6 gasoline turbo. First, the 2020 K5 model sold 31,000 units, setting a lower than expected record. In comparison, the G80 sold 47,000 units, the GV70 29,000 units, and the K8 45,000 units. In a way, semi-large sedans are now selling more than midsize sedans. Even the Grandeur has sold a lot of semi-large cars to the extent that 50,000 units have been sold, so it holds the title of number 1 in sales. So, in the past, the models representing sedans were the Avante, Sonata, and K5, but now, consumers are pursuing a slightly larger and more comfortable sedan as their eye level has risen slightly. So, in fact, the direction of K5 is very important. It's not a vehicle that can easily be discontinued, so make it a little sportier, add a different powertrain, or give it some attractive changes. In the case of the K5 model, there is actually a GT model. However, there are GT specifications and four-wheel drive models as North American specifications, not Korean specifications. As such, it is expected to produce a GT trim or a four-wheel drive K5 model for Korean consumers. Personally, I want to experience what the difference will be with this model now when the K5 four-wheel drive comes out. However, there is no news about this yet. I've passed Sedang now. Overall, the roads were not blocked today. It usually takes about an hour to get here, but today it took about 40 minutes with this model. The key now is how blocked it is when going from Yeoksum to Seoul. After driving some more, let's test the medium mileage. Arrived at Yeoksum station. It took just an hour to get here, and the road wasn't blocked as much as I thought. So the fuel economy showed a very good result of 20.4 kilometers. In the case of the 1.6 gasoline turbo model, it took 1 hour and 31 minutes to get here, and the fuel economy was 8.6 kilometers. The Grandeur 2.4 hybrid took 1 hour and 28 minutes to get here, and the fuel economy was 13.6 kilometers. The Avante 1.6 hybrid took 1 hour and 29 minutes to get here, and this model also had a pretty good fuel economy of 20.6 kilometers. And the K8 1.6 gasoline turbo hybrid model showed fuel economy of 15.5 kilometers in 1 hour and 12 minutes. Perhaps the K5 facelift model will be released in the second half of 2023 or 2024. So, as I said before, as of February 15, 2023, it has not yet been decided whether it will be a 2.0 gasoline NA engine or a 1.6 gasoline turbo powertrain. However, as expected, the more diverse the type of powertrain, the higher the manufacturing cost of the vehicle, so the 1.6 gasoline turbo is likely to disappear. So let's talk about what if the K8's a 1.6 gasoline turbo goes into the K5. First, as mentioned above, the K8 1.6 gasoline turbo hybrid has 180 horsepower, and the 2.0 NA model has 152 horsepower. So the K8 is big and heavy, but the city fuel economy is 17.1 kilometers, and the K5 city fuel economy is 17.6 kilometers. So the 1.6 gasoline hybrid is bound to be better than the 2.0 NA hybrid model. If a 1.6 gasoline turbo is put into the K5 hybrid, fuel economy is estimated to be about 18.5 kilometers. In addition, if the number of inches of the vehicle is reduced a little more, it is expected to achieve a fuel economy of about 19.45 kilometers. Whether the 1.6 gasoline turbo is good can be seen just by looking at Hyundai Motor Company's flagship model, the Grandeur. This is because it is also included in the Grandeur. However, there is one catch. If you go to the Kia Motors website and look at the description of the K8, there is a phrase that the maximum fuel economy is 18 kilometers. The same goes for Grandeur. This can be taken for granted as both vehicles have identical powertrains and identical output lights. But here's an interesting point. In the case of the K8, it shows fuel efficiency of 18.2 kilometers when 17 inches are applied. And if you go over to 18 inches, the fuel economy drops dramatically at 16.8 kilometers. However, the Grandeur model does not have 17-inch wheels. So, the Grandeur unconditionally starts with 18 inches, and when 18-inch wheels are applied, the fuel economy is 18 kilometers. Therefore, the K8 achieves fuel efficiency of 16.8 kilometers with an 18-inch wheel, and the Grandeur model achieves a fuel economy of 18 kilometers with an 18-inch wheel. This means that the 1.6 gasoline turbo engine is slightly different from the model that entered the K8 Grandeur. If this goes into the K5 model facelift, I think it will be a great model that far exceeds expectations for fuel economy. So when comparing hybrid vehicles, it's good to pay attention to wheel inches a little differently than when comparing internal combustion engine vehicles. Of course, you might say that fuel efficiency of 1-2 kilometers is not a big problem when riding a hybrid, but there are quite a few hybrid riders who are sensitive to fuel economy. For those who are sensitive to fuel economy, it is recommended to lower the wheel inches. On the other hand, if appearance is more important regardless of fuel economy, I think it is right to increase the number of inches. It took 1 hour and 5 minutes to get here. I think today's test will be over in about 1 hour and 50 minutes. The road started to get clogged little by little. If you look at the battery indicator here, it has a little over half left. On such a congested road, it seems that there is also an advantage that the fuel economy can be increased a little by using the electric mode. And I rode this vehicle again for the first time in a while, and found out that the fuel efficiency drops sharply on hilly roads. In the meantime, I've ridden a lot of 1.6 gasoline turbo hybrids such as Sorento, K8, and Grandeur, and after a long time riding the 2.0 NA model again, the texture and noise when the engine runs on a hill are definitely different. I think Hyundai Motor Company is showing technology that changes dramatically in 1 to 2 years. So the 1.6 petrol turbo is really good, and the 2.0 petrol turbo is good but lacks power on hills. Now let's keep running towards our final destination. Arrive at Jamsil station. The total distance so far is 24.7 kilometers, but strangely, 300 meters more came out. Anyway, it took 1 hour and 45 minutes, and the fuel economy is 19.6 kilometers, which is better than the official fuel economy of 17.6 kilometers. The K5 1.6 gasoline turbo model took 2 hours and 8 minutes to get here, and the fuel economy was 8.7 kilometers. The fuel economy of the Grandeur 2.4 hybrid model was 14.3 kilometers, which took 2 hours and 1 minute. The Avante 1.6 hybrid is a model that took first place among a total of 41 vehicles, including electric vehicles, in the fuel economy test I conducted, and showed an amazing fuel economy of 24.7 kilometers in 2 hours and 9 minutes. Finally, the K8 1.6 gasoline turbo hybrid took 2 hours and 4 minutes and the fuel economy was 14.8 kilometers. Bottom line is that NA hybrids are fuel efficient. However, there is still insufficient power in terms of output, so if the 1.6 gasoline turbo hybrid is applied, I am looking forward to seeing what kind of fuel economy and appearance it will show. Today's fuel economy test ends here. Please leave your questions in the comments. Please press subscribe and like. Thank you.